So let's address the marketing lie. So on the box, you might see these big numbers like 10,000 megabytes per second, which is sequential read and write speed. So you're reading something just sequentially rather than random read and write all over the place. Now, the problem with that is not really what you're going to see in your use case. And everybody's talking about the faster speeds, but the thing is, you're never going to reach the top speed in city traffic, if that makes sense. So when you're seeing these maximum read and write speeds on the box, this is not the full story of that SSD and not necessarily faster in your use case. I'll show you that in a minute. But what I have here is the sequential read and write speeds. This here is the read speed, and you can see that the fastest drive that I have ever tested is the Phison E28 reference model that I got sent for a review, and that is the fastest read I have ever tested. But anything Gen 5 high end, as you can see this bit in there, they're very, very much similar. And you can see then you've got a lower end Gen 5 right over there. And then you've got Gen 4 of 7,000 and everything in there. There's over 55 SSDs in there. And you can put them in a place like that where we say that the Solidigm P44 Pro, that drive over there, is 50% slower than the Kingston Fury Renegade over there, for example. But that's not really the use case scenario here, what you'll actually see. So in terms of read speeds, you can see that this upper part here is where we have Gen 5. So this is the top end Gen 5 there, and then how they slowly improve to Gen 5. And this is the top end of Gen 4, very, very plateaued. And you're never gonna see these read and write speeds. I'll explain that in a minute. But I wanna show you the write speeds as well. So write speeds, we're seeing very, very similar graph. There is a little bit more of a increase or crescendo towards the higher end drives, which we have here, the Kingston Fury Renegade G5 drives. They're one of the best drives I've ever tested. But then the higher end Gen 4 drive, very, very similar, as you can see in there. And then slowly dipping off all the way to Samsung T9, which is actually external SSD. So why do you not see the read and write speeds, and why this is the marketing kind of trick then? It's because in order to see these transfer speeds of, let's say, 10,000 megabytes per second, you're gonna have to have a very specific configuration. Most of the time, something else is gonna be the bottleneck. Your interface, where you're gonna be transferring these files from, because not very often are you transferring within your own PC files from one NVMe SSD to the other one. If you're transferring them outside the PC or to another PC or to a network drive, NAS, somewhere else, then that is going to be the bottleneck for you. Or external, whatever solution you're using, even Thunderbolt 5 is not going to be fast enough. Thunderbolt 5 goes up to 7,000 megabytes per second, but some of these here are going 10,000 megabytes per second. Even if you have, let's say, 2 Gen 5 drives in your system, transferring between them, your file explorer might be the bottleneck, and you're still not gonna see that speed in there. So they're very, very theoretical, and in some use cases, yes, you can see them, but 99% of the people like you and me will never see them. But if you wanna see some people who find those speeds, you can find them in the comment section below.